black woman created this. Black woman created this. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Sundays with a Cherry on Top. I am your host, Cherry, and you know the drill. It's good to see you. I'm glad to see you. Thank you. Shout out to everyone who's been with me all, on this journey and this season. We've had a really good, exciting, fun season. And be sure you see the ticker down there. Make sure you follow me on IG, Instagram, Sundays with a Cherry on Top, Twitter, Sundays with Cherry. And this show is being viewed live on, we have people on Twitter, we have people on Facebook, and we have people on YouTube. So hi, I'm so excited to be here because my guest that's coming up is very inspirational. But before I introduce her and bring her on, I just wanted to say that people have been, reaching out to me, asking me about my mom, because how you guys know how every interview, sometimes I'll bring up something about my mom, because after each show, she'll call me, she'll talk to me about the guest, what she loved about it. She'll tell me, like the cherry pick, she loves everything that I'm doing. And a lot of people are saying, why don't you interview your mom? Because your mom sounds so funny because the things that she says, or and the way that I quote her. And I have to ask her, because I'm not saying I'm going to do this, but I haven't thought about it. But I just want to say thank you so much for giving my mom love, and how you guys, she makes you guys laugh through me, when I quote her, and how, and thank you for recognizing her support in the journey in this, because she's been keeping me positive with this, and she's been such a stage mom with me since I was a kid. But I really appreciate that. And I don't know if I'm an interviewer. I don't even know how she would do with the interview. She might not even show up. She'd be too nervous and embarrassed, because she is not the actress of the family. I'm the actress, dramatic one. She thinks I'm cosmopolitan. That's her word. She's like, you're so dramatic. You're so cosmopolitan. But anyway, I just wanted to, say shout out to my mom, and shout out to all you guys who watch the show and sending my mom love, and how she makes you laugh and you guys want to meet her. So Mom, if you're watching, the feedback for you has been bring you on as a guest. So I don't know yet, but I just wanted to put that out there. So before we get into the interviews, you guys know how I like to do a fun fact. And I was trying to figure out a fun fact with Medina and I as far as how we met. And I cannot, usually I can remember how we met, and I have to ask her, hopefully she'll remember. I don't remember how we met. I think we met doing a reading. Somewhere up, I want to say upstate, but in the Heights. But I can't remember where it was, or what the subject matter was, or who was directing. But we did a reading together. That's what I think it is, and we've been friends ever since. Like, we go get wine, when she was in school, we go have lunch, things like that. And so we've seen each other's work, we supported each other in the theater, and so that's why I thought she would be the perfect guest to bring on, because her story is very inspirational about walking away from a job that wasn't fulfilling her in ways that acting is. And so and I really wanted you guys to hear the story to keep us inspired, because a lot of us are in things that we necessarily don't have the courage to walk away from. And so I just feel like if you hear it from her, it'll spark a seed and keep you and give you some strength in some way. So like I was saying, and we're going to talk more about this in the interview, but she chemical engineer. She has a law degree from Harvard, vice president of American Express. And then she went on to get a degree in acting at Juilliard. And so I just want to talk about that journey, because that is fascinating to me. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my girl on, Medina Senghore, and we're going to have a great, beautiful conversation. Yay! Honey, do you remember the play or the reading, or how we met? Is that how we met? Through a reading, right?
I do remember how we met. And it's so funny you said you had the Up memory, because I'm pretty sure it was with Up Theater Company.
Oh, okay. See, okay.
And they served like Upper Manhattan, and it was a reading. It was a staged reading. I don't think we even had any rehearsals. I think we met like early.
We met and jumped in, right?
Hours that day before, and then broke for dinner, and then came back. And yeah, I was like, I think I was in school.
You were in school, yeah.
I was at Juilliard, and I remember just like glomming onto you. One, because you were just so talented and so wonderful,
Thank you.
but
That's how
also,
I felt about you. I was like, oh, who's this girl? I need her in my life.
and you were just so like welcoming, and like I was still in school, so I hadn't fully made the transition from, you know, acting as a hobby to being a professional actor, and you were like a real live Black girl professional actor.
I will take that. See, that means a lot to me because you don't know until you hear it. And like, I had no idea that you felt that way or saw me that way. Cause I was looking at you and I was like, oh my God, who is this girl? She's amazing. How come I don't know her? And then that's when I realized you were in school still. And I was like, okay, that's why I haven't seen her on the scene yet because she's still in school. But then I was like, oh my gosh, she's at Juilliard. I want to get to know her. I need her in my life. There's so much I can learn from her. So I love the fact that we came into each other's lives at the time where we needed each other and can learn from each other at the same time for different reasons.
Yeah.
So
And
I think that that's amazing.
I don't think I would have been able to articulate at the time that I was still looking for, you know, representation of
Mm.
what it was I was aspiring to, because I was at Juilliard at the time, you would think. But when I think back on, it's like, yeah, even at that point, I still like was, you know, inspired by meeting, you know, someone who was doing the thing that, you know, I
Yeah.
was trying to build towards.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
it was great timing.
It was perfect timing. Yeah. No, okay, we're gonna get more into that too. But before we start the official interview, I like to always ask my guests about a check-in because there's so much going on in the country, in the world, and now this pandemic. You know, there's a surge happening, and I just like to check in with the guests and where you are today, right now. How are you feeling? How are you holding up during this time? Because it is an up and down journey, especially with what we're going through. One day they say wear a mask, not wear a mask. How are you holding up with everything?
Um, I always take a pause now when
Mhm.
someone asks me that, because one of the things I've learned, or at least accepted over this past year, is that my answer to that question has like a 5 minute expiration date.
Okay, that's real. Amen. Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, so how am I feeling right now this minute?
yeah.
Great.
Good.
I was looking forward to this. My husband, thank goodness, took the kids out. So I can not only enjoy this, but I can enjoy it without, you know,
Looking over your shoulder.
that someone's gonna run in here and knock the laptop over.
Oh my gosh! Now, how old are the children? How are your
My daughter
babies?
is so near to being 6 that we might as well call her 6.
6. Okay.
And my son is 3.
Wow. Yeah. I
And
mean,
so,
I remember when he was born.
yes, yeah, because when we met, I was with my daughter while I was at Juilliard, but we met prior to that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so you saw that whole like crazy arc. Um,
You were in Juilliard, pregnant, married, and studying theater. So I'm like, give me the secrets. I don't
it's
even know. Like I think about the journey, and that in itself is amazing because there's a lot of people out there who've gone to grad school and they don't really see that. Or, like I think about my class, no one was, pregnant, or everybody has a different story, and your story is very unique, but you did it. Like you did it. So like I commend you for that. And I want to ask you about that later. Um, but I want to get into you your journey to Juilliard because you are like I said in the intro, coming from a law background, you left a lucrative career for acting. And so I have this picture of you with Portia that Bjorn's gonna pop up. And the reason why I have this picture of you with the rose is because this is a testament to you leaving a job where you're like, I want to be an actress.
yeah.
And this is you at the rose tattoo at Williamstown. And so the question I have for you is, where did your love of acting come from for you to just make that big leap and journey?
Sure. So I ask myself this a lot too, because I can't really find a starting point. It's just something that
Mhm.
has always been with me. You know, I think back to the first play I saw, my favorite TV shows and movies, the first musical I saw, and my relationship to it was always, I want to be an actor. I want to be doing what they're doing. I want to be
Okay.
on stage. enjoying the story was never enough. I always wanted to be in it, and it was such a part of me that I just assumed everyone felt that way for a huge part of my life. Like I was well into adulthood. I would do plays, and I would think, oh, all the crew and everyone backstage, they all want to be actors too. They're probably just like very, very shy, terribly shy or something, and they should go out and do it. And as I grew and like met professionals, I realized, oh no, like your desire to do this thing is an individual, unique thing. Not everyone wants to do this. So it was
Yeah.
just such a natural part of me that
Wow.
I assumed it was just part of me.
Part of everybody else's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you look back at it and I think about it, it's like, Medina, that's a little daft to assume that everyone thinks the way you do. But yeah, it's just part of the package. It was just always with me. So my journey hasn't necessarily been coming to a realization that I wanted to be a performer. My journey has been taking what seemed like a ridiculous dream and making it part of my reality.
Now
Because
let's talk
I always
about,
wanted it, but
yeah.
I never thought I could do it.
Well, let's talk about this word ridiculous because you say you always wanted, you didn't think you could do it. And from your point of view, using your word ridiculous,
Mhm.
where in your journey did you say, okay, I'm going to go after this ridiculous thing? Like, when did you know it was time for you to just do this?
There were a couple of, I'd say, way stations
Yeah.
along the
Okay.
way
Yeah.
that I can identify. The first was when I saw Passing Strange.
Oh, yeah.
The way your life can change in the theater, and it was really just a moment of realization. So there's a line in the play, and I wish I could remember what it was,
Yeah.
but it's the scene where the kid is hanging out with his choir director,
Hmm.
Daniel Breaker and Coleman Domingo,
Yes.
playing those two roles. And the choir director, he says something about how we're all passing for something. And I'm not going to disrespect the show and misquote it, but the moment that I had sitting there in the Belasco
Yeah.
was a realization that I was passing for, and in my mind, the voice I heard in my head was, I'm passing for normal. And what
Oh,
that
okay.
meant for me was all of the ambitions that I had that I fully owned and felt like my own actually weren't. They were someone else's playbook.
Really? Okay.
And while I was capable of them, they weren't they weren't aligned. They were a slice of me, but they weren't the whole
The whole of
of me.
you. Yeah.
And yet that's how I walked through life and defined myself and identified myself. And
Wow.
so that was sort of the first moment of just realization of like, okay, well, what are all the other things you're feeling? Like, what are your desires?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I was all ambition, but no desire.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and
Now,
so
do
once
you?
I started listening to that part of myself, that
Yeah.
was the first that was the first step in me taking my love of performing seriously as
Okay.
a part of
Okay.
myself and not just kind of a weird quirk of my personality or even as a flaw. I think sometimes I really treated it as a flaw.
Wow. Oh
Yeah.
no, thank you for sharing all of this because yeah, there's so many things that popped up for me. The first thing is I wanted to ask you with this making this realization and actually doing it, is there a part of you that misses the lawyer in you, or do you like no, that's okay. I would rather play one on TV or in the movies, or is there because you're saying it's a part of you, but
Mhm.
you're not doing it anymore. Is there a part of you that misses it, or like I didn't have done that kind of thing?
I think the talents I had um, that led me to those careers, I still
Yeah.
get to use them in other aspects of my life.
Nice. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I don't miss them. There are times like, especially looking at oppression and social justice and all the things. So there are times
Yeah.
like, Medina, you should have just stuck with it. You should be more in this world.
You mean this courtroom? Like, no, like this is what
I
what
wish
we're
I
not
would
gonna do today. What we're not
have.
gonna do
But
today.
sometimes I do have that conversation with myself, but then I remember actually, like this skill, there's some skills of being a lawyer that I had, but the skills that make you a great lawyer, I actually didn't because you have to build a case like very slowly and methodically and discipline. And
Mm.
I wanted the like slam your hand on the table, dramatic moment. If I went around court doing that, like all of my clients would lose. And like that's the actor in me. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
no, I want
Yeah.
the big dramatic, you know, you can't
Yeah.
handle the truth. So I'm better
Yes.
off as a performer.
Wow. Oh no, that's amazing. And for you, now you were saying, this is triggered something you said triggered me. Now, with the where did the law come from? Was that something your parents were like, this is what you have to do, or what we want you to do, or is it something you were genuinely interested in?
Something I was genuinely interested in, but
Yeah.
again, trying to find where it started. I jokingly tell my parents that I think when I was a kid and sleeping, they used to like play
Oh,
subliminally in my
yeah.
ear, you're going to be a lawyer, because that's another thing that I just always, when I was a kid, you know, you're a kid and you're around aunties and uncles, they say, what are you going to be when you grow up? And I'd say, I'm going
Yeah.
to be the first Black woman Supreme Court justice.
Oh, yes.
And I
Okay.
used to say,
Amen.
and so again, like as young as I can remember, I just knew I was going to be a lawyer.
Wow.
Um, and yeah, aspects of my personality and my skill set that lent me to it. And I loved studying law. I really didn't
Nice.
become dissatisfied until I was practicing law.
Okay, that's real. Until you were in it, then you realize, okay, you know what? Let me go ahead and get this acting on.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and I think because I went into, I grew up watching, LA Law, and I thought that it was going to be like that.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
is for a very, very, very small percentage of lawyers. Um,
Okay.
and yeah, I just the the amount of time and commitment that that career took,
Hmm.
um, the imbalance in my life where the creative part of me was not being fed, just
Hmm.
started to show up like a bright red flashing light, and that's what
Wow.
led me back into acting as an adult.
Okay. And was it easy to walk away? Was it easy?
By the time I walked away, it was, again, because
Okay.
I stretched it out so much. There's these series of realizations of, okay,
Yeah.
no, this is a real thing. This is
Yeah.
not, an aberration. And then it was like, okay, well, then I'll be very committed to pursuing as much acting I can on the side. I'll be
Hmm.
committed to
Hmm.
that. And I'll be committed to, studying with as many great teachers here in New York, nights and weekends as I can.
Hmm.
And then that was enough for a while. And so, there were always, I'd have a realization or a desire, and that would be good enough for a
Hmm.
year. And
Okay.
then I'd reach that point, and then I wanted more and more and more. So
Yeah.
by the time I
Okay.
walked away, I was ready.
You were ready. Okay. Well, speaking of walking away, like this is such a great journey. So we walk away, and then I want to get into the latest, the movie of those who wish me dead, because this is the journey of you. What we just talked about, and you making this choice, and you're like, I'm ready to walk away, and then you end up in a movie with Angelina Jolie, right? And this is a snippet that we're playing here of you playing Allison, and I want you to talk to me a little bit about this, because you're playing a pregnant mother and a wife who runs a survival school in Montana with your husband, who is the sheriff. And there's a lot of action in this for you. And for those who have not seen it or who will watch it later, you can find it on the streaming app HBO Max. um, Tell us a little bit about this movie, and then talk to me about you working with Angelina Jolie, and was it surreal for you?
Sure. So, Those Who Wish Me Dead, directed by Taylor Sheridan, who I was already a fan of by the time I got the audition for that. So through this, so that was very exciting.
Yeah.
It's I've heard it described as a neo-western, but it's your classic like summer action movie. There's guns and horses and fire, and it's just like it's a
Speaking of fire,
great,
look at there.
yeah, it's
Yes.
it's a great entertaining ride. I mean, the cast is incredible. Um, and yeah, it's to me, it's really a story about good versus evil in my
Mm-hmm.
mind, because the people who end up getting challenged in the film are just regular normal people. They're not superheroes.
Hmm.
They're regular working people, but they encounter this evil force, in the form of these two assassins,
Hmm.
and then battle it out.
And you battled it out pregnant, right? The strength of a woman, and the strength of a woman pregnant, like, and how strong a woman is just in her body, but then you see the strength of a woman as she's protecting child in her body and life, and that brings on the strength too. People don't connect the strength of a pregnant woman or just what the woman's body can do.
I'm so glad to hear you say that. And of course, you get it. I remember when I read it, the first time I read the script, I was like, oh, there are going to be people who watch this movie. This is before I even had it. There are going to be people who watch this movie and poo-poo it. I'm going to say a pregnant woman can't do those things. But having been pregnant and, having observed other, pregnant women, just women in general, honestly. I said, no, I was like, this is getting at something that women are going to appreciate. Because, like what our bodies are capable of and the challenges we face just in things that really are day to day. I was like, there's an important story in here that isn't even a part of the story.
Yes, right. And you get it, and when you're, especially as a woman, you're seeing this, you're like, the metaphors, this is great.
You feel it. Yeah, you just feel it. Yes, okay. Someone sees what I'm feeling.
Yeah. And so for you, you did your own stunts, and how was that experience?
I did as many of them as I could. I did the shooting. They gave me training on the shooting. I've never even been in the same room as a gun, I don't think.
Were you nervous with that?
I was in great hands with the gentleman who did the training, so he made me very comfortable. But the first time I shot one, it was just, for me, it was like, I was committed to the training, so I was careful and committed to it. But just like I was like, this is a tool that's used to take life, and that's a difficult thing for me. But I was happy. I wanted to do as much as possible. Like, I've seen Taylor Sheridan's movies before, and I know his characters go through it. I was like, I just want to put myself in a position that I can do as much as it's safe for me to do. And I got some horse training. Anytime you see my character on a horse doing something like super epic, that is not me.
You were like, okay, up until this point, somebody else, please step in.
No, shout out to my stunt double, Meg Wilson. She's incredible.
Wow, no, I love
her, like, representing in rodeo. She's amazing.
And did you go through a long period of training?
It's film, so it was truncated. Definitely not as long as I would have liked. But again, I was in good hands, and they got me from. I mean, I'd been on a horse, but cute, like, oh, we're gonna go for a walk in the mountains, kind of thing. We're gonna go on a walk. They got me from just that to galloping.
Wow.
And making turns and starting and stopping. So I'd love to go back and actually like learn slowly.
Okay.
But they got me to a confident place. It was awesome.
I love that. And then, so what were you thinking when you're on set and you're looking across and there's Angelina Jolie? What was that experience like for you?
Well, I know myself. When I encounter someone that I'm a fan of, I get very goofy. I just, I know myself. I get very awkward. I say weird things. So my whole strategy going in, and there were many actors in the movie who I was huge fans of. And so my whole philosophy going in was like, I'm just going to stay quiet. Because I know if I start talking, it'll get weird. Luckily for me, our characters don't meet in the movie. So I only crossed paths with her once on set, and she was just so lovely. Like, any, nervousness I had, she, immediately dissipated because she's so cool. So that ended up being very easy.
Oh, nice. That's really cool, because another question that came up for me is, so you cross your paths once on set, but then you go into the interview circuit, and and it's virtual, and some things, and then there were some things that you guys did live together. Now, how was that experience? Because it's like, now you guys are sitting next to each other during the interview process. And how was that for you? Were you still feeling awkward or weird, or like, oh my God, I don't want to say anything because it's Angelina Jolie, or had a lot of that gone away by this point?
The thing that was most weird about it was being in person with anybody, because we shot in 2019 when it was normal to be outdoors amongst And then by the time we did press, we'd been, locked up for a year plus. So
Mhm.
again, all credit to her. Like, it was easy, doing the press that we did together,
Mhm.
because she literally is just like cool. And we talked about our kids, and it was like,
Nice.
just talking to another mom,
Oh, I
of
love that.
all the hilarity and chaos, of being a working mom.
Yeah.
So, person to person, she made it very easy. She was so welcoming. She treated me like a peer.
Because you
Um,
are girl, yes, I love that. That makes me so happy to hear because one of my fears as my career grows, and then working with people that you admire, you love, and then if they're not approachable or not nice, like sometimes you hear stories, and that's
mm,
one of my fears is to like somebody that I hold in such high regard because of their work ethic, or just because in my mind I'm like, oh my gosh, I love their art, I love their acting, and then to meet them and to hear such a positive, beautiful story, it makes me very happy.
yeah,
So
that's been my experience. And sometimes I catch myself saying, I've been lucky. Everyone I've worked with has been wonderful. And then I have to look at the evidence and say, well, maybe it's not that you've been lucky. Maybe
mhm.
wonderful people abound, in this industry, and maybe the rude people, the abusers,
Yeah,
are in the minority, but there's just been too much space made for them.
yeah,
And the tolerance, this idea of that, with brilliance comes bad behavior, and so you have to tolerate it. And
mhm,
any actors coming up who I meet, I let them know you actually don't, because I've met lots of famous people who have every right to be awful, and they're not.
yeah,
So
and then
somebody's
which is
trying to
nice.
convince you that because I'm number one on the call sheet, I get to mistreat everyone around me.
Yeah,
No, they don't. That's just them. It's not a demand of the job.
yeah, yeah, amen. No, that's good to know. So look, we've been talking about motherhood and we're talking about working with like some amazing actors. And speaking of another actor who I personally love, I love, Christopher Maloney, and I love him. so, um, and so you're, a mother, Allison, and Those Who Wish Me Dead, and then now here we are with Happy, with you did with Christopher Maloney. Um, you're, it's talk to me about working with him and that experience. What was that like? Because he in my head is just somebody that I want to work with. I just watched Law and Order, Organized Crime. I've ever since Oz, I've been a fan. So what was it like working with him? Were you starstruck the way I feel like I would be, or
I feel like a broken record.
yeah,
I I had every reason to be starstruck.
yeah,
He made me feel so welcome
oh
and
nice,
so comfortable.
yeah,
And the roles that I knew him from,
mhm.
I was not aware of what a brilliant, um, physical comedian he is.
Yeah,
And so, aside from, it just being fun, because he was one of those like top of the call sheets that, sets the right tone.
hmm, hmm,
So just working there was wonderful, but I just loved watching him work, because I mean, he was, playing chess.
yeah,
Um, not only working the scene, but like working with the VFX people to figure out where the
yes,
cartoon would be, and like
yeah.
watching him choreograph that in real time and just like act with the air. And so that was a great learning experience. He's amazing.
And that's one of my questions for you because I have this video of the snippet. Bjorn's going to play it of you with the animation, like where you're looking at the thing. I can't even talk right now. But so you were saying you watched Christopher do this and work with the AVI people and CGI. What was that like for you? Like for you to have the moment of working with the animation. Did it come easy or was it a challenge? Was it fun? Because I
I
have watched the show. It's based on a comic book. For those who are watching now who will watch this later, it's based on a comic book. You can watch it. It's Happy. It's on Sci-Fi. There are 2 seasons, and so now we're talking about the animation part of it. So, what was that like for you working with animation?
Well, I had it easy because
Yeah.
my character couldn't see Happy. So anytime Happy was in the scene, I was unaware. Um, and so I didn't. There was in the final season, one of the like midway through the season, my character finally does see Happy. But
Mhm.
for the entire first season, my character was really, it was cool because she was almost in a different show. Everyone else is in this like very like pulpy graphic novel, and my character's daughter gets kidnapped. You know, so everyone else is like bouncing off walls and like blood spatter and like funny, you know, physical gags, and my character's in like a Greek tragedy. So that was very interesting and actually kind of fun.
Nice. Okay. So I wanted the theme that you have with, because one of the things that I point out with my interviews that's just become a thing that I love is how I see the artists and my guests, their steps are ordered, right? And so we have you with you playing mothers, different kind of women, strong women who are mothers, who are nurturers, who are married, you know, and they're protective of their family and they're getting it in and standing up for themselves at the same time. And so in real life, right? You're a mother, you're an artist and actress, and you're married. And so I just wanted to get into with you a little bit about family because you know, this is a kind of place where art imitates life in a way. How do you as an artist balance everything out and find time for self-care? Because I know some days are easier than others, but how I'm just looking at you in such awe because how are you doing this?
You know, take that awe and just put it on somebody else. Because, oh my goodness, it's a struggle. It's a
Yeah.
struggle. Like there have definitely been times that I'm like, oh, I see why a lot of actresses postpone having a family because um, there are a lot of ways that the two are not compatible. And you know, my husband is a great supporter, but we like he and I both because he's a creative also. He's a visual artist, a visual designer,
Nice. Yeah.
visual communicator. He would say, let me not misquote. Let me not misquote him. Um, and we both changed careers at the same time at our big age. So he went back to school before I did. And the plan
Wow.
was that I was going to work and hold it down while he went to school to get his master's. And
Mhm.
then I got into Juilliard while he was in his master's. And so we both changed careers at the same time, which would have
Wow.
been enough, but then we became parents while we were both in
Ooh.
school at our big age, and then transitioned into our new careers while
Mm.
also coming out into the world as parents, which we hadn't been before. So we've just it's week by week, month by month, day by day, figuring out how to make it work. And, you know, sometimes it's like, okay, I've got to hold it up for you. And sometimes it's like, all right, I've got to hold it up to you. And sometimes it's us butting heads. Like, no, I need time to do this. Well, I need time to do this. And, you
Yeah.
know, we figured out, well, you take the kids for 2 hours and I'll take the kids for 2 hours. And um, we are working it out day by day.
Minute by minute, step by step. Yes. Wow. I did not realize this is the first time in our many conversations, you know, and just when we hung out before you left me for the West Coast. I didn't realize he was going through a career change as well with you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very fascinating, and also too, you know, having somebody who can understand, like you said, I'm pretty sure button heads, but someone who is actually going through the same thing you're going through. Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it helps that we're both creatives. You know, we don't do the same thing, but we can
Yeah,
at least understand. Well, you know, when one of
yeah,
us is like, you know, having angst, you know, when you're trying to like figure something out and or you're just understanding the amount of time something
yeah,
takes, like
yeah.
at least we can understand and support each other in that way.
Oh, amen. Oh, I love this. So listen, like these interviews are in and out, right? They're fast, quick. You see how we was having a good time? We was
Yeah,
kikiing, with Black Girl Magic, you know, just coming in and I just, you know, but before we go, I like to we're gonna segue into our cherry pick
Mhm.
and when we come back on the other side of the segment that we're about to play, I'm gonna ask you about your cherry pick. So we'll be right
Okay,
back.
cool.
Okay, so tell me about your cherry pick. I love this cherry pick. This is great. I can't wait for people to hear this one.
Oh yeah, so my cherry pick is "What to Send Up When It Goes Down" by the brilliant Alicia Harris. I saw this in New York at the yeah this is the production I saw. I don't want to
Mhm.
misquote. It's Movement Theater or Movement Company.
Movement theater
Yes,
company.
that's where I saw it. It's when I was in New York shooting season 2 of Happy, and I just I needed it. I needed it.
Mm,
I didn't know what it was. I didn't read anything going into it. But all I can say is the experience.
yeah,
And everyone and anyone listening, if you get an opportunity to go and experience this ritual, this play,
yeah,
this happening, your soul needs it. You don't
oh,
you don't even know. You may think you know the way that your soul needs it, but
yeah.
you will come out cleansed. And
Ooh,
that's what it
see,
did for me. Oh,
yeah,
that's what it
mm,
did. I mean, like throughout, this pandemic and
yeah,
all the reckoning and the realization that we've all gone through in different ways, um, with the state of being black in this country.
mm,
I know that we've all found like ways to heal ourselves and take care of ourselves, or to like blow our own minds and
yeah,
to grow. And for me, in surviving like this time,
hmm.
what to send up when it goes down has been a part of my medicine.
Oh gosh. Everybody has talked about this play and
Mhm.
everybody loves this play and the rituals and the cleansing. And it's coming to New York in the fall. It's going to be at the Signature Theater. Oh no. Playwrights Horizons, right? I have so many plays in my head. I think it's Playwrights Horizons. For those of you guys watching, don't hold this against me. It's an easily Google search. We can figure that out. But I think it is Playwrights Horizons. And I cannot wait to sit in this audience and see this play. It was just at BAM in Brooklyn and
Mhm.
rave reviews, and it's directed by Whitney White, another Black woman.
Yes.
Um, who I'm just like, yes, Black girl magic, because we need more Black women directors, out there doing the thing. And since the Movement Theater Company, it's been having wings and taking flight, and no one said a bad thing about this play. And I bought the play.
Oh,
And so I'm gonna wait now because I didn't realize it was coming across the street from down the street over here. So I'm
mhm.
going to see it and then I'll read it. But I want to go in like you, not knowing anything about the play. I just want to have the experience of the ritual, and then I'm gonna go and read it. But for those of you guys who have seen it or may want to read the play, Bjorn has put up the picture. Make sure you go to Black-owned bookstores, the lit bar first if you want, but find a local Black-owned bookstore in your neighborhood or in your community, and buy this play, and then go see it if you can, if you are in New York. But I'm so glad this is such a good cherry pick. So good. It's such a good one. So, but listen, that's about
Like
it
talk
though.
about
So I just say it again.
As I'm glad I got the chance to talk about it with someone because it allowed me to revisit what it did for me at the time.
Yeah, no, I'm just the fact that the way that it touched you, and when you say the word cleanse, and you say that you needed it, and it's just, and for me, I'm excited about that, and I'm also excited about earlier we had a picture of Alicia Up, the playwright, and then directed by a Black woman, and just all this Black girl magic behind the scenes and in the play. Like I just, it's so needed, So and we have somebody said they need to check this out, so that's
And
great.
and
You know what I mean?
it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so incredibly good, from, the writing to the performances, and yeah, hands
Yeah.
down,
So,
hands down.
yeah. So no, I'm really excited. So I'm definitely gonna check it out at Playwrights Horizons. Guys, make sure you go online, get tickets because it just closed at BAM, I think on July 29th. Now you can get tickets for the next because the play is taking wings and taking flight. So see it while you can. Because
Absolutely.
after New York, I'm sure it's gonna go somewhere else because not a bad word said about this play. So I'm really excited about it. But on that note, I just want to say thank you so much for just being a part of my life, one. And thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. Like I said, as an artist, a mom, a wife, and then finding self care for yourself to take the time to say yes to me and sit down with me for 30 minutes. I thank you. I really appreciate you coming to Sundays today.
I appreciate it too. Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait till we're doing this back in person,
Yes.
the outdoor, patio.
Yes. Yeah, we'll be somewhere. We'll be somewhere with a glass of wine and on site somewhere, and we'll talk and kiki it that way too. But I look forward to that too. It's gonna, and then we'll be talking about the next latest amazing project you'll be doing. So I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Whatever that is, right?
Whatever
So
it is.
whatever it is, from your lips to God's ears, for both of us, something's coming. Something's coming our way. Anyway, guys. So guys who are watching, let's all say goodbye to Medina and yes, and thank you so much. And guys, thank you for watching. And just so you know, like we do these every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you guys, we do like 6, 6 to 7 or 5 to 6 interviews, and then we take a break. And so I wanted to bring more interviews. But everybody's on summer vacation. A lot of people are working. And then I was talking to Bjorn in our meeting, and I was like, we're gonna take a summer break too, because we've been working this summer. We've been bringing you these interviews, and we've taken breaks here and there. But we're gonna take August off, so we can have summer. We can all just get. Speaking of self-care, I need some self-care, and just focus on gearing up another season in the fall. So, like a lot of the talk shows, like The View, all of those shows, The Talk, The Real, all of them, they take August off. So I'm going to follow in their footsteps, take my August off, and I'm going to come back in the fall with them. And I'm going to bring you some more interviews and some more guests, and everybody hopefully will be more readily available because the summer will be over. But I just want to let you know that there's not going to be a show next Sunday, but we'll be back in September. So, and I want to say thank you again. Make sure you go to YouTube. If there's interviews that you want to see, all the past seasons are there. All the cherry picks are there. And there's snippets. But every single guest I've had in the past 3 to 4 years, they're on that YouTube page. So if you want to see past guests, please go in there. And please email me, shout us out. Come, message us on Facebook. If there's a guest that you want to see, or if there's somebody that that you think will be perfect for the show, please make sure you do. And there you go. Find my social media there. Find me. And that's it, guys. I'll see you in September. Bye, guys. Thank you.